Vice President J.D. Vance just moments ago in L.A. threatening this.
If you enforce your own laws and if you protect federal law enforcement, we're not going to send in the National Guard because it's unnecessary. But if you let violent rioters burn great American cities to the ground, then of course we're going to send federal law enforcement in to protect the people the president was elected to protect.
Vance also taking aim at lawmaker Senator Alex Padilla, who of course was recently muscled to the ground after interrupting a Homeland Security press conference.
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom immediately firing back on social media, calling him Jose Padilla is not an accident, the governor said. Vance at the federal building that ICE is right now using as a command center. His visit coming, of course, amid protests and tense standoffs over ICE's raids in the state. Stephanie Elam is in Los Angeles. So, Stephanie, Vance really not holding back at that presser. He did also, we talked about the governor's response there. He also went after Governor Newsom.
Several times he went after Governor Newsom and also Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, calling out both of them, saying that they were encouraging violence. He said it several times. He also said that this was something that was necessary. You see behind me, the National Guard is here. It's worth mentioning that this is the same federal building where the vice president was, where Senator Alex Padilla, not Jose Padilla, where Senator Alex Padilla was wrestled to the ground just about a week ago. So this is the same building that this happened in. And he was saying, the vice president was saying, that it's necessary for the National Guard and for the Marines to stay here because they want to be able to respond if there's another flare up of tensions like we saw far on the other side of town in downtown Los Angeles that began on, I think that was June 6th, that Friday, when we saw that flare-up start. He's saying that we need to keep them here so that they're able to respond. I think for those of us who are out there covering the protests, you could see that a lot of the local law enforcement was taking the lead. The California Highway Patrol, the Sheriff's Department, the LAPD, were the ones who were taking the lead. As things did get aggressive, though, that's when you would see at the end of last week that we did see some of the Marines and National Guard members helping to stop those people who were agitating in difficult ways. But overall, it's just another time here that we've seen people out here with their signs saying that these people who are here are a waste of money because it's not necessary to have this level of protection for a federal building when most people are walking around in flip-flops. Erica.
Yeah. Stephanie Elam, important points. Good to see you. Thank you. I'm joined now by Lindsay Horvath, LA County Supervisor. It's good to have you here tonight. You know, as Stephanie ran through what happened just in these last few moments there with the vice president in Los Angeles, and then we saw the response from the governor saying it was no accident that he called Senator Alex Padilla Jose Padilla. What do you make of that?
That's exactly right. It was no accident. He is targeting a community. This administration is targeting a community, and they're saying the quiet part out loud. No rioters are burning our city to the streets. What burnt our city are the fires that we had earlier this year. And if the federal government really wanted to help us, they'd focus on the assistance that needs to continue to help people on the ground. They wouldn't be going to places of work like the 2 Home Depots and the Lowe's that were raided in my district just yesterday, where people are going to work. They're trying to support their families, and they're also trying to support families who need to rebuild their homes and their lives. This isn't targeting, violent criminals. This is targeting working people. This is an assault on working people and families who are just trying to take care of themselves. So I think this administration has it all turned around. They're not clear about what's happening in Los Angeles. I'm happy to tour the vice president around the city so he can actually see what's happening on the ground.
Did you reach out to his office with that offer?
I haven't personally reached out. This is, just absurd to hear that our vice president is saying these kinds of things. Senator Padilla was his colleague in the Senate. He knows exactly who our senior senator is from California. I mean, this is what he is saying is to be inflammatory. He's talking about calming the tensions. It's the federal government that has escalated what's going on here in Los Angeles. And the best thing that could happen is for them all to leave and for us to continue conducting the work that needs to be done to take care of our residents and keep our communities safe.
I'm curious. Well, number one, if you do reach out, right, and offer that opportunity to tour him around, please do keep us posted because I'd love to know if he takes you up on it and also what that moment is like. Just quickly before we move on, I'm just curious your take on the timing here because as Stephanie laid out, what we were hearing from the vice president is he says he needs to keep the National Guard, the Marines, basically on call just in case. As Steph was laying out for us, people walking around in flip-flops where he is right there. What does this say about the timing for his visit?
Well, it's showing us that the federal government is militarizing our streets. They're bringing more guns onto our streets. They're bringing more tension and more of an escalation onto our streets when what we need is a calming in this community, a uniting in this community to support one another. They claim to care about working families, and it's clear that they don't. They claim to care about, protecting our safety when all they are doing is escalating the tensions that are happening here. We already know that they went out of chain of command, which is the most important thing that you can respect when it comes to public safety. So if they really want to focus on safety, then they should take a look at what's going on in this community because we are more than capable of keeping people safe here in Los Angeles. What we need to do is support them with care and services and stop militarizing our streets.
LA County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath, appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you.
Jasmine, it seemed like a quick turn, the vice president. It hadn't been announced prior to, I think, this morning that he was going to Los Angeles, this visit coming after the court ruling last night. What's your sense of what's going on inside the White House on this issue in LA?
Yeah, my colleague Reese Gorman actually broke this story, and I think it's interesting because we're so focused here on Iran and all of the issues happening in the Middle East, but the White House is very clear that they can focus on multiple things at once, and what's happening in Los Angeles is, in fact, one of them. So you have J.D. Vance, who has become one of the president's really top allies, somebody he talks to. They had lunch, I believe, either this week or last week. They have it pretty frequently, going to L.A. basically to meet with the FBI and other agents on the ground to just kind of get a sense of what's been happening, even though the national spotlight is not necessarily on them as much as it was, say, a week and a half ago. And so I think you're going to consistently see this White House, even if they are talking about foreign policy issues. We know that President Trump right now is expected to go to NATO next week. They're still going to come down to what their bread and butter is, particularly when we know that the MAGA base is kind of iffy on whether or not they should actually strike Iran. They're going to come back into the issues that the MAGA base likes, and that is immigration, that is deportation, that is all the things that J.D. Vance is talking about right now in L.A.
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning Reese with the scoop. Wasn't he confused for like a worker at a J.D. Vance event?
It's always something. It's always something.
So, as the Justice Department alum here, the legal elements of this, of which there are so many and so many cases moving at once, how does this move forward for the administration?
So I think the administration always loves to go all the way up to the Supreme Court whenever they can. And so we'll see what happens there. But what I'll say is that more broadly, the administration doesn't have a great track record overall when it comes to their, challenging their various actions, et cetera. One thing that I will say about J.D. Vance's visit that I thought was very interesting is that we aren't talking about Los Angeles anymore. The country has sort of shifted. And J.D. Vance is there to bring it back into the news. Presidents and vice presidents normally go to places of crisis in order to take down the temperature. We saw that with Barack Obama when Trayvon Martin was shot. He spoke out about it. You saw Eric Holder go down there too. You see senior administration officials go down there to kind of bring down the temperature in communities when there is chaos. It seems like this administration is trying to do the opposite. Instead of meeting with law enforcement here in Washington, D.C., getting regular updates from the FBI, as I'm sure that they're doing, he's going to Los Angeles to make a point. And it could further inflame protests and other people speaking out. And so I thought it was a very interesting move, especially at a time when the American people don't want chaos. Polling shows that they want an administration to have a fair immigration system.
TW, to that point, it's a feature. It's not a bug. And Sochi's being kind by saying it seems like this is what's happening. It might be no, this is what they do, and they're doing it intentionally. It's worked for them politically up to this point. Long term, though, is there risk to it?
Well, I think the polling shows pretty clearly that the American people are in support of the president's immigration policy. CNN's own polling says that. There's a poll that came out yesterday that clearly shows that. They also support ICE. And one of the things that really bothered me about this LA issue, especially with the Dodgers, not only did they say it was ICE when it wasn't, But I want to know, why were they putting that out on social media? Why wouldn't they go to the authorities first and ask the question and then clarify it online if questions were being asked? So the cynic in me, and I hate being a cynic though, I hate it, but it felt to me like they were playing up to their audience, as you mentioned in the lead-in, of Dodgers fans who are becoming more anti-immigration enforcement. And this brings me to a broader point. We talk a lot about the rise in political violence. We've seen Max Miller get run off the road yesterday. We saw that horrible assassination a couple weeks ago. And we see that also geared toward our law enforcement. Yet I don't hear any sort of concern at all for the ICE agents, the men and women who are simply doing their job enforcing federal policy. Well, they're wearing masks. Why are they wearing masks? Because their families are being doxxed, their kids are being doxxed. And I think it's completely irresponsible for the LA Dodgers to have acted in this manner. And I think that this is the type of nonsense that the broad American electorate rejects.